Hello, everyone, and welcome to this third plenary session of Sea of Solutions 2020. I'm Veronica Pedrosa. In this session, ministers from governments around the region share their thoughts on tackling marine plastic pollution, catalyzing solutions through policy and fiscal reform, and their government's visions for collective efforts at the international level. Now, to welcome you to this session, Mr. Tan Din Thi, Director General of the Vietnam Administration of Seas and Islands, joins us from Hanoi.
Good afternoon from Vietnam, Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. In the past 2 days, the Sea of Solution 2020 conference has been going on perfectly. Today, I would like to send my warm welcome to distinguished guests and ladies and gentlemen attending the third plenary session, the high-level session on marine plastic pollution and the COVID-19 pandemic, a cohesive and responsive ASEAN. Ladies and gentlemen, nowadays marine plastic debris and plastic pollution have been recognized as a pressing challenge for global and Southeast Asia sustainable development. While global efforts has been made to tackle plastic pollution, the COVID-19 pandemic has increased the use of plastic and levels with the flow, waste management, and recycle system, unfortunately. In the light of this matter, there can be 4 presentations in this session agenda, including first speech by Mr. Nemingen, Deputy Minister of Natural Resources and Environment, Vietnam. Second, video message from Regional Minister, including Excellency, Ms. Isabella Lovin, Deputy Prime Minister, Minister of Environment and Climate of Sweden. Dr. Siti Labaya, Minister of Industry and Forestry of Indonesia. Mr. Dato Sri Tun Ibrahim Tunman, Minister of Environment and Water, Malaysia. Ms. Grace Fu Haizin, Minister of Sustainability and Environment, Singapore. Mr. Datu Seri Baduka Ahazi Mazuke Hazi Mohsin, Deputy Minister of Development of Brunei Darussalam. And Mr. Kondo Tomohiro, Deputy Minister in charge of Global Affairs, Ministry of Environment, Japan. And for the video on Sea of Solution 2020. As you can see in this session, Minister will exchange their view on marine plastic pollution, policy and financing solution and vision of government on common efforts at global level via the United Nations Environment Assembly and the Ad-hoc Open Expert Group on Marine Litter and Microplastic, as well as the complying with the commitment of G20 Osaka Green Vision. The Bangkok Declaration on combating marine litter in ASEAN Region and ASEAN Framework on Marine Litter and COBSEA Regional Action Plan on Marine Litter. Intervention at this level can reflect on achievement of years 2020 when Vietnam being a chair of ASEAN, and determines the pathway to facilitate this intervention. Once again, my warmest welcome and sincere gratitude to your presence and participation in this conference, and may I declare the opening of the third plenary session. The high-level session of plastic pollution and COVID-19 pandemics, a cohesive and responsive ASEAN. Thank you very much. All the best for the conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ta Bin Thi. Sea of Solutions 2020 wouldn't happen without the support of the government of Sweden. Its Minister for Environment and Climate and Deputy Prime Minister Isabella Lövin joins us now.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for inviting me to this important meeting. Now, wasting less plastic and keeping it out of the ocean is an essential topic that concerns us all as a humanity. We certainly need to ensure that the needle moves. As you're aware, we're witnessing a dramatic surge in plastic pollution of the environment. We now find plastics even in the most remote areas. We find it in the Mariana Trench, the deepest point of the ocean, in the Arctic, or on the Midway Islands, more than 2,000 miles from the nearest continent. Midway Islands in the North Pacific Ocean happens to be at the center of the so-called Great Pacific Garbage Patch, a vast area of floating plastics collected by the circulating oceanic currents. Midway Islands are also a haven for many species of seabirds and home to the largest colony of albatross in the world. And we've all seen the photographs from these islands. They are practically littered with bird skeletons, and the birds' bellies have been filled with plastics instead of food. And eventually, many of these birds either choke to death or just don't have enough room for actual nourishment, so they starve to death. Well, in short, we find plastics almost everywhere on our planet, and we do not yet know the full effects that this will have, but we know more than enough to act quickly and decisively. Current estimates show that production levels of plastic will not decrease, they will double by 2040. So, dear friends, reports to the UN have demonstrated fundamental gaps in the existing international legal and policy frameworks on plastics, rendering them ill-equipped to eliminate this problem. Therefore, a key priority for my government is to strengthen global governance to address this urgent challenge. We need to rethink how we deal with plastics from beginning to end. What are the concrete steps we need to take? Well, one such step is that we should agree to remove unnecessary plastic products from the market. The flooding of on the market with single-use plastics that are used for just a minute but pollute for centuries is simply not sustainable. We should also work together to make sure that those that remain on the market are designed to last, to be repaired, to be reused, and at the end of their useful lives, to be sorted and recycled into new high-quality products. We also need to consider the importance of ensuring non-toxic plastics and reducing the use of the most harmful chemicals in plastics. And not least, we need better better systems for waste management. A global agreement to prevent plastic pollution can address these steps that need to be taken. Marine plastic litter and microplastics cross borders and must be addressed across borders. This is a really global concern. To address the challenges and to create a level playing field for businesses, we need to make this change at the global level. We need to continue talking to each other and working together to decide on a global agreement on marine litter and microplastics. And to inform our discussions, the Nordic Ministers of Environment have jointly launched a report on possible elements in the global agreement to prevent plastic litter and plastic pollution. And I hope that this report will be useful as food for thought in the deliberations to negotiate a global agreement. It contains ideas on international criteria, standards, and national management plans, and it addresses the whole life cycle of plastics. We have a concrete problem at our hands, and we know we need to act. So, in summary, we now have an unparalleled chance to correct past wrongs and to make sure that our children will get the experience of a clean and thriving ocean. Thank you.
And thank you. That was the Deputy Prime Minister of Sweden, Isabella Lövin there. You're with the Sea of Solutions 2020 partnership event to prevent marine plastic pollution. Our keynote speech now from our co-hosts, the Government of Vietnam. Here's Le Minh Ngan, Deputy Minister of the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment.
Kính thưa các quý vị,
distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, representative of international organizations. First of all, I would like to express our honor to be co-host with the COBSEA and the UNDP in organizing this international conference on the Seas of Solution 2020. Last year, we had the Sea of Solution conference in Thailand, and this year it is hosted in Vietnam as the chairman of ASEAN. And on behalf of the co-host, I would like to wish all of you good health and happiness. First of all, on behalf of Monterey, I would like to extend our warmest welcome to all the participants of these high-level plenary sessions of the Sea of Solutions Partnership for 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, COVID-19 has slowed down our progress, not only in economic growth, but also in prevention of pollution. And it's high time to think of the challenges posed by COVID-19 in our fight against plastic pollution. Vietnam is among countries that are seriously affected by the COVID-19, and it's not only the economic effect or social effect, but also the environmental effect due to increase in the use of single-use plastic. And I would like to share with you some of the experience of Vietnam in responding to COVID-19 and the prevention of plastic pollution. And our experience involves, firstly, education and raising awareness of the entire population on the negative impacts of plastic pollution on our living environment and human health. And from that, we can create positive changes in the habits of consumption of everyone, particularly for women, through which to encourage the use of more environmental friendly products and encouraging collection, classification, and reuse and recycling of plastic products. Second, the policy and legal framework needs to be enhanced in order to improve the legislations and regulations with a new mindsets on circular economy and digital transformation and closed loop access, expanding the responsibilities of manufacturers and encouraging the production and use of more environmentally friendly products. And thirdly, we need to see stronger engagements of all stakeholders, global efforts through the initiatives and actions at the regional and global levels.
International cooperation has brought about positive achievements that need to be leveraged. Ladies and gentlemen, through the last 3 days of work, we believe that we have now realized that the reducing marine plastic waste has become an urgent challenge and issues to be addressed by all countries. And COVID-19 has even more aggravated the problem. That's why we need to put our minds and hands into the efforts to deal with the problems of reducing plastic waste in the oceans. And we need the engagement of all the public and private sectors and everyone in addressing these challenges for the future of our children and grandchildren. Ladies and gentlemen, plastic pollution is not confined by geographical boundaries. That's why international cooperation is very important for us to share experience and finances for addressing this problem. And in ASEAN, there have been several international and global and regional level initiatives through bilateral and multilateral agreements. However, the reality has also revealed that with only the regional or bilateral agreements, we cannot address all these problems by ourselves. And on this occasion, we promote and support the establishment of a global program on the principle of respecting the UNCLOS and the conventions and the principles of the United Nations. And the issues stated in the agreement need to be aligned to the principles of ASEAN and our member states. And I encourage you to discuss enthusiastically and practically in this session in order to identify more practical solutions for reducing marine plastic pollution. And I wish every success to the conference today. Thank you very much.
And thank you, Deputy Minister Lee Min-ngan. Because of the pandemic, this year's Sea of Solutions is a hybrid online and in-person event. This is the high-level panel to hear from ministers of governments in the region as they share their country's experiences and successes in marine litter and plastic pollution prevention, their views on tackling marine plastic pollution in the COVID-19 era, and accelerating collective efforts at the international level. First, from Indonesia, Her Excellency Siti Nurbaya, Minister of Environment and Forestry.
Your Excellency, Minister Tran Hong Ha, the Minister of Natural Resources and Environment, Socialist Republic of Vietnam. Honorable Ms. Dacian Sering, Regional Director and Representative for Asia Pacific of UN Environment. Excellencies, distinguished participants of the high level of Sea of Solutions 2020. First of all, on behalf of the Government of the Republic of Indonesia, I would like to express our special thanks to the United Nations Environment Programme UNEP and coordinating body on the Seas of East Asia, COBSEA, for organizing Sea of Solutions 2020 in collaboration with the Government of Vietnam as the host for this year and supported by the Government of Sweden. Excellency and distinguished participants, globally, we are facing new complex and multidimensional challenges in marine environmental issues such as marine litter, especially plastics and microplastics. Despite efforts at international, regional, and national levels, there is indication that the problem continues to worsen. To participate in the global action, President Joko Widodo in this regard issued Presidential Regulation on 2018 on combating marine litter that provides a legal basis for the development of Indonesia National Plan of Action in reducing marine litter, 2018 to 2025 with the main target to reduce marine plastic litter by 70% in 2025. We are also aware of the estimations that around 80% of marine litters are land-based. In this regard, the Ministry of Environment and Forestry also issued regulation in 2019 concerning the roadmap of waste reduction by producer. The roadmap guides and facilitates the producers, including brand owner manufacturers, importers, retailers, and food and beverage service industries to implement their responsibility to reduce the waste generated from their goods, packaging, and services in the forms of plastics, papers, aluminum, and glasses. Furthermore, Indonesia has been reducing single-use plastic by limiting the usage of plastic shopping bags, straws, and foam food containers at modern retailers and food and beverage service industries, including hotels, restaurants, and cafes. There are 2 provinces, Bali and Jakarta, and 38 cities regencies that have banned single-use plastic products. More provincial, districts, and city governments will be joining the agenda. From year to year, I obviously recognize more activities of communities in reducing plastic bags and combating plastic waste. Excellency and distinguished participants, to assure commitments under the United Nations Environment Assembly UNIA 4 resolution and the Bali Declaration on the protection on the marine environment from land-based activities, and to assertively and effectively addressing regional priorities, Indonesia has established a regional capacity center for clean seas, RCCCS, in Bali, Indonesia. RCCCS is designed to contribute to the reduction and mitigation of land-based resources of marine pollution, with particular focus on nutrient, wastewater, marine litter, and microplastic. RCCCS will continue to implement and build further concerted efforts at the field level to protect marine environment from land-based activities. Excellency and distinguished participants, it is my fervent hope that this Seas of Solutions 2020 Partnership Week will be able to fruitfully discuss substantial issues and recommend effective solutions to solve the multidimensional problems of marine litter from land-based activities. Let me once again thank all participants for your interest, contributions, and active participation in this important event. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much indeed, Siti Nurbaya, their Minister of Environment and Forestry of Indonesia. This is the Sea of Solutions 2020. Many thanks to all of you. The organizers are the United Nations Environment Programme and the coordinating body on the seas of East Asia through the Sea Circular Project, supported by the government of Sweden. A reminder of the context in which we're meeting. Waste disposal systems are overwhelmed like never before. The COVID-19 pandemic has changed the way we consume single-use products, especially plastics, and an unprecedented volume of plastics finding its way into our oceans. How can we now progress to less plastic wasted? Let's now hear from the Republic of Korea's His Excellency Seong Hyuk-moon, who's Minister of Oceans and Fisheries. His Excellency.
안녕하십니까. 대한민국 해양수산부 장관 문성혁입니다. 우선 금년 아세안 의장국이신 베트남의 자원환경부 전홍하 장관님께서 2020년 Sea of Solution 파트너십 주간을 성공적으로 개최하신 것을 진심으로 축하드립니다. Sea of Solution을 한결같이 지원해 주신 스웨덴 이사벨라 로빈 부총리님께도 감사의 뜻을 전합니다. 또한 이번 행사에 함께한 모든 COBSEA 회원국과 여커 타멜란드 사무국장님께도 깊이 감사의 말씀을 드립니다. 내외 귀빈 여러분, 전 세계가 코로나19에 맞서는 과정에서 일상의 모든 것이 바뀌는 뉴 노멀이 도래했습니다. 방역과 격리, 마스크가 일상화되면서 어느덧 플라스틱 제품의 사용도 급격하게 증가하고 있습니다. 그러나 우리는 이런 상황일수록 UN 지속 가능 발전 목표 달성을 위한 노력을 지속해야 한다는 것을 잘 알고 있습니다. 대한민국 정부는 이런 상황을 심각하게 인식하고 포스트 코로나 시대를 대비해 더욱 강화된 해양 플라스틱 폐기물 저감 정책을 시행하고자 합니다. 이미 지난해부터 해양 플라스틱을 절반 이상으로 줄이기 위한 대책이 시행 중입니다만 더욱 체계적인 관리를 위해 보다 강화된 법을 마련해 오는 12월에 시행할 예정입니다. 해양 플라스틱의 발생 원인을 획기적으로 줄이기 위해 어업인, 지역 주민과도 지속적으로 협력하고 반려해변 사업을 통해 전 국민과 기업, 단체들이 책임있게 해안가 쓰레기를 관리하는 문화를 형성할 것입니다. 또한 해양 폐기물 관리위원회를 설립해 범정부 차원의 파트너십을 만들어 나가고자 합니다. 아울러 현재 COBSEA 회원국과 함께하고 있는 청항선 건조, 해양 폐기물 관리 역량 강화 등 협력 사업도 더욱 적극적으로 추진하겠습니다. 내외 귀빈 여러분, 이미 국제사회는 해양 플라스틱 문제를 기후변화에 준하는 현안으로 인식하고 있습니다. 2주 전에 개최된 제4차 UN 환경계획 해양 폐기물 및 미세 플라스틱 특별 전문가 그룹 회의에선 국제 협약 마련에 대한 공감대가 형성되기도 했습니다. 대한민국은 앞으로도 해양 플라스틱 문제에 대응하기 위해 COBSEA 회원국과 함께 필요한 역할을 다할 것입니다. 이를 위해 내년 5월 개최 예정인 제2차 P4G 정상회의에선 해양 폐기물 민간협력 파트너십 증진을 주제로 해양 특별 세션을 준비하고 있습니다. 2022년 9월에는 UN 환경계획과 함께 제7차 국제 해양 폐기물 컨퍼런스를 대한민국의 대표적인 해양도시 부산에서 개최하고자 합니다. 오늘 참석한 COBSEA 회원국의 많은 관심과 참여 그리고 지지를 부탁드립니다. 대한민국 역시 해양 플라스틱 폐기물 관리에 선도적인 역할을 해온 COBSEA와 지속적으로 협력해 나가도록 하겠습니다. 고맙습니다.
Thank you very much indeed, Korea's Minister of Oceans and Fisheries. His Excellency Datuk Sri Tuan Ibrahim Tuan Man is the Minister of Environment and Water, and he's provided Malaysia's experiences and vision in this video message.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera. May peace be upon you. Greeting from Malaysia. Firman Allah Ta'ala, وَمَا يَسْتَوِي الْبَحْرَانِ هَذَا عَذْبٌ فُرَاتٌ سَائِغٌ شَرَابُهُ وَهَذَا مِلْحٌ أُجَاجٌ وَمِنْ كُلٍّ تَأْكُلُونَ لَحْمًا طَرِيًّا وَتَسْتَخْرِجُونَ حِلْيَةً تَلْبَسُونَهَا وَتَرَى الْفُلْكَ فِيهِ مَوَاخِرَ لِتَبْتَغُوا مِنْ فَضْلِهِ وَلَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ. Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan sekalian, pencemaran plastik merupakan salah satu isu yang melanda global dan Malaysia tidak terkecuali daripadanya. Punca utama adalah penggunaan pelbagai jenis plastik secara berluasa dan sikap setengah pihak yang tidak mengambil perhatian serius terhadap kerosakan alam sekitar disebabkan oleh plastik. Dianggarkan sehingga 50% daripada semua plastik yang dihasilkan adalah plastik sekali guna dan ianya membawa sebanyak 13 juta tan plastik telah dihanyutkan ke laut setiap tahun. Pakar menganggarkan bahawa 80% sisa pencemaran laut terhasil daripada sumber daripada daratan. Tuan-tuan sekalian, pencemaran plastik juga merupakan ancaman kepada kepelbagaian biologi serta keselamatan makanan negara. Menyedari peri pentingnya usaha bagi menangani isu ini, Kementerian Alam Sekitar dan Air atau KASA telah mewujudkan inisiatif pengurangan sisa plastik sebanyak 50% menjelang 2030. Malaysia telah pun membangunkan Pelan Hala 7 ke arah sifat plastik sekali guna 2018 hingga 2030. Misi Pelan Hala 7 ini adalah bagi mencapai sifat plastik sekali guna untuk mewujudkan persekitaran Malaysia yang lebih bersih dan sihat menjelang tahun 2030. Pelan Hala 7 ini bertujuan menyediakan hala 7 dasar kepada semua pemegang taruh untuk melaksanakan pendekatan yang bersatu dan kolektif dalam usaha mengatasi pencemaran plastik. Malaysia juga sedang menggerakkan perubahan daripada ekonomi plastik linear kepada ekonomi plastik kitaran. Kaedah pengeluaran dan penggunaan secara linear merupakan suatu amalan yang tidak lestari, di mana model hasil guna dan buang adalah merugikan. Model ekonomi kitaran merupakan satu model di mana penghasilan, penggunaan, pengurusan sisa yang melibatkan perkongsian, penyewaan, penggunaan semula, pembaikan dan kita semula produk sedia ada selama mana mungkin. Pada masa ini, terdapat 3 projek yang sedang dijalankan bersama rakan pembangunan strategik dalam usaha mengenai isu ini. Kementerian ini juga sedang bekerjasama dengan pihak World Bank bagi membangunkan Pelan Hala 7 ekonomi kitaran plastik, melaksanakan kajian pasaran bagi mengenal pasti peluang dan cabaran dalam ekonomi kitaran plastik serta kolaborasi bagi menjalankan pencegahan plastik sekali guna di rantau Asia Tenggara. Sebagai anggota Coordinating Body of the Seas and East Asia sejak tahun 1981, Malaysia telah dipilih oleh United Nations Environment Program UNEP untuk melaksanakan projek Sea Circular, yakni kerajaan Sweden merupakan penaja kepada projek ini. Kami merakamkan penghargaan yang tinggi kepada kerajaan Sweden yang mengambil inisiatif tersebut. Projek Sea Circular mensasarkan perkara-perkara berikut. Yang pertama, mewujudkan hal 7 yang jelas dalam pengurusan sisa pencemaran laut di Malaysia. Yang kedua, menangani ancaman sisa pencemaran laut terhadap kelestarian ekonomi dan ekosistem sumber marine. Yang ketiga, menangani isu pencemaran laut oleh sisa plastik daripada sumbernya. Dan yang keempat, memperkukuhkan pelaksanaan inisiatif ekonomi kitaran. Pendekatan yang diambil dalam mencapai objektif tersebut adalah melalui beberapa kaedah. Yang pertama, pembangunan Pelan Hala 7 Marine Litter Kebangsaan. Yang kedua, menggalakkan penglibatan sektor swasta dalam pelaporan jejak plastik. Dan yang ketiga, insentif berasaskan pasaran bagi industri kita semula plastik. Tuan-tuan sekalian, akhir kata, saya berdoa dan berharap agar inisiatif-inisiatif yang sedang dan yang akan dilaksanakan oleh kementerian ini dapat menyumbang kepada pertumbuhan ekonomi kitaran dan kelestarian ekosistem laut kita dan kesejahteraan masyarakat pesisir pantai khususnya. Semoga kita turut sama terlibat dalam menjayakan usaha ini. Sekian, terima kasih kepada semua pihak. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera.
An inspiring message there. Now, Myanmar's Minister for Natural Resources and Environmental Conservation, His Excellency On Win, sets out Myanmar's contribution to the international effort to reduce plastic pollution of our seas and oceans.
Honorable Mr. Chairman, honorable ministers, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed a privilege and honor for me to deliver these remarks at this high-level panel on a sea of solutions on behalf of the government of Myanmar. I would like to begin by expressing our deep appreciation to the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment of Vietnam for co-organizing this important meeting. Myanmar is blessed with a long coastline, but we face daunting challenge. Moreover, intensive farming and aquaculture combined with rapid urbanization and industrializations, increased shipping traffic and fishing activity have resulted in deforestation, posing significant risks to the marine environment through an increase in marine debris and associated marine pollutions. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, strong institutional systems, clear environmental regulations, and social safeguards related to marine pollution control will be required in balancing social, economic, and environmental issues to achieve sustainable development. While promoting investments for economic development, the government has made significant progress by making necessary changes to policy and legal framework, followed by appropriate rules and regulations. However, we must continue to improve the institutional, technical, and human capacities needed to achieve sustainable development. I would like to affirm that Myanmar is committed to the implementation of the 2030 Sustainable Development Agenda, along with the mainstreaming of environmental issues into national and subnational development planning through the implementation of the National Environmental Policy, Climate Change Policy, Strategy and Master Plan, Green Economy Policy Framework, National Waste Management Strategy and Master Plan. Myanmar recognized that marine plastic pollutions pose a serious threat to food security, marine biodiversity and environment, and is also a major concern regionally and globally. We believe that we must join hands to overcome the common threat to our planet through increased coordination and the sharing of information and ideas to ensure a better future for our region and the world. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Myanmar recognized that marine litter and microplastic waste not only pose a threat to our environment, but also public health and our economics. The COVID-19 pandemic has sparked an increased usage of disposable materials such as personal protective equipment, PPE, masks, gloves, gowns, and single-use plastic bags. In order to reduce such medical and other hazardous waste, we have developed and adopted the Hazardous Waste Management Master Plan 2020-2030 with the aim of managing hazardous waste from various sectors in an environmentally sound manner. While single-use plastics have a role in helping keep people safe during the COVID-19, they create another burden as governments have to find ways and means to deal with the waste problem. In order to address this issue, financial resources capacity building, and technological transfer are crucial. We currently have limited information and experience, adequate scientific research, assessment and monitoring regarding marine debris and plastic pollution. We would need to combine forces to deal with the problem urgently, both national and regional levels. Since the key source of marine debris is plastics, Myanmar National Waste Management Strategy and Action Plan 2080-2030 lists also as one of the priority waste streams and promotes a 3Rs approach. In this regard, plastic policy options and a roadmap has been developed with the technical assistance of the World Bank through the survey and assessment of product alternatives for the top 10 priority plastic items that pose a threat to the environment in Myanmar. Myanmar is developing a national plastic action plan based on a series of pilot surveys and diagnostic study on the life cycle of plastics with the technical assistance of the World Bank and MOEG in order to achieve target 14.1 of the SDGs. Myanmar is participating in regional cooperation under the Bangkok Declaration on combating marine debris and the ASEAN Framework of Action on marine debris and its implementation. Myanmar supports the Ad-hoc open-ended expert group on marine litter and microplastics through enhancing regional and international cooperation to support effective national response, particularly for countries with limited resources and capacities. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I firmly believe that strengthening coordination and cooperation at the regional and international level is key to achieving this year's theme, wasting less plastics and keeping it out of the ocean, as the needle moved. To conclude, I would like to thank you all for the opportunity to participate in this policy exchange and important regional platform for identifying collaborative pathways to further strengthen our ability to respond to the common challenge we face from the growing threat of plastic debris in our oceans. We must join hands in plastic pollution mitigation efforts during this COVID-19 pandemic and protect the marine ecosystems of the region through a cohesive and responsive ASEAN. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thanks very much for that message from Myanmar. Next, let's hear from Singapore. Here's Her Excellency Grace Fu Hai Yen, Minister for Sustainability and the Environment.
Excellencies, distinguished colleagues, I thank Vietnam Minister of Natural Resources and Environment, Tran Hong Ha, and UNEP Regional Director for Asia and the Pacific, Derchan Sering, for inviting me to join the Sea of Solutions 2020 High-Level Panel and to share my message. Marine litter and plastic pollution is a global environmental challenge. Bold, science-based, and collective action is needed to conserve our coastal and marine environments and support the biodiversity, habitat protection, as well as the livability and sustainable development of all countries. The Sea of Solutions platform will help galvanize action on this critical issue. Singapore is committed to play our part in tackling marine litter. We have instituted an integrated approach to properly collect, manage, and dispose waste. All our waste is recycled or incinerated. This is supplemented by a strict littering enforcement regime and regular waterway monitoring and maintenance so that no waste leaks into our waterways and oceans. Singapore is pursuing a circular economy to minimize waste and reuse our resources. Our Zero Waste Master Plan sets out strategies to address 3 key waste streams: e-waste, food waste, and packaging and plastic waste. We passed the Resource Sustainability Act, which will put in place regulatory measures such as an extended producer responsibility framework. Singapore will invest in science and technology to transform trash into treasure. As a land and resource constrained city-state, we must constantly think out of the box. We are creating new sand by turning waste treatment residue into construction material. We are exploring chemical recycling to convert plastic waste into new oil, which can be used as feedstock to produce new resins. But innovation, technology, and regulations are only part of the solution. Our people must play their part to dispose litter properly and keep our environment clean. In Singapore, volunteer groups such as the International Coastal Cleanup Singapore conduct regular beach cleanups, while the Singapore Risks and Marine Stewards Singapore organize an annual World Oceans Day celebration and Marine Cleanup Day to protect our marine biodiversity. My government will continue to work closely and encourage such community efforts. Beyond our shores, Singapore actively contributes to regional and global efforts to address marine plastic litter, including those under COBSEA, the Ad-hoc Open-Ended Expert Group on Marine Litter and Microplastics under UNEP, PENSI, and at multilateral platforms such as the APEC, G20, and IMO. We have joined fellow ASEAN countries in adopting the Bangkok Declaration on combating marine debris and the ASEAN Framework of Action on Marine Debris. We are committed to actively engage public, private, and international partners to find innovative solutions to reduce and manage plastics disposables. Thank you, and I wish our hosts and colleagues a rich and rewarding discussion.
You're with the Sea of Solutions 2020. If you're just joining us, welcome to this high-level panel in which we're hearing from ministers all around the region about how they are partnering with this region-wide ambitious effort to clean the seas of plastic pollution. We hear next from Brunei Darussalam. Datu Sri Paduka Ar Haji Marzuki Haji Mohsin is Deputy Minister for Development. Let's listen.
As we are all very much aware, marine debris is adversely affecting the 3 pillars of sustainable development: economic, social, and environment. Marine debris that gets accumulated at sea and on coastlines poses a serious threat to major marine lives and ecosystem, as well as coastal environment. It also degrades important aquatic habitats like coral reefs and seagrass beds. These impacts are felt globally and regionally. And Brunei Darussalam is no exception. We have seen a significant amount of miscellaneous debris, particularly in plastic litter, wash up along the coastline and affecting our beaches. They can also be found in most rivers in the city, particularly along the Brunei River, which hosts the capital city of Bandar Seri Begawan, including the country's famous and historic landmarks, such as the Water Village and the newly built Sultan Haji Umar Ali Saifuddin Bridge. Entanglement of marine lives by ghost nets was also observed at several popular diving spots in the country. the government of Brunei Darussalam has since taken drastic measures to clean up the Brunei River, from manually collecting waste to deploying booms to control the spread of debris. From May 2018 until today, over 4,500 tons of waste was successfully collected from the Brunei River. Between April and October 2019, local scuba divers managed to remove about 2,800 pieces of debris found at popular diving spots, while other private sectors and non-governmental organizations tirelessly organize cleaning campaigns at beaches and along major coastlines. Recognizing the majority of marine litter originates from the land and is made up of plastic, the first critical steps are to prevent waste from entering the oceans and waterways in the first place. What better way to achieve that than to prevent or reduce the generation of waste, in particular plastic, by implementing the approach that we are all very much familiar with: reduce, reuse, recycle. In this regard, the government of Brunei Darussalam has successfully implemented the No Plastic Bag Everyday initiative, whereby no more plastic carrier bags are provided to customers in major retailers and supermarkets every day of the week, starting the 1st of January 2019, and thus encourages the use of reusable bags among the public. Additionally, the government has also increased excise duty on plastic products by 3%, which has taken effect since the 1st of April 2017 to deter the import of plastics into the country and encourage businesses to look for alternatives to plastics. Although the issue of marine debris is global, it is very much a regional concern, and that means it requires a regional cooperation and collaborative action. We can assure you that Brunei Darussalam is committed to working with other countries in the region and would continue to support any regional programs and actions that effectively address and tackle marine litter and prevent plastic pollution in our region. Let us together strengthen our efforts. Let's keep litter where it belongs, and let's work together to end plastic pollution.
This year's Sea of Solutions event has participants from all around the region. 50% of those who registered are from SEA, Southeast Asia, Thailand, Vietnam, Indonesia, Malaysia, Cambodia, the Philippines, and Singapore. The rest are from South Asia, East Asia, including all inhabited parts of the world, including the Middle East, Oceania, North America, the Caribbean, Central and South America, Europe, and Africa. We have two more messages. The first is from Cambodia. Sao Sop Heap is Secretary of State for the Ministry of Environment.
Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, today I have great honor and pleasure to join the virtual high-level panel on marine litter and plastic pollution prevention. On behalf of the Ministry of Environment, I would like to express my sincere thanks and appreciation to the Government of Vietnam, Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment, COBSEA and UNEP, Government of Sweden for co-hosting the Sea of Solutions 2020 during COVID-19 pandemic. In the last 2 decades, Cambodia has enjoyed strong economic growth thanks to full peace, stability, and security. As a matter of fact, Cambodia became a lower middle income country in 2015 and projected to become upper middle income country and higher income country by 2030 and 2050 respectively. Recently, fast-growing population, rapid urbanization, and the trend toward mass consumption have posed various environmental challenges, particularly waste management. Nevertheless, in early 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic created additional challenges and barriers with sudden increase in single-use plastic, including personal protective equipment such as masks and gloves. This make an alarm for Cambodia to an urgent handling such plastic waste with environmentally sound management, such as 4R application, extended producer responsibility, resource recovery practices. In terms of environment management, the right government of Cambodia has made great effort in reform the environment sector, in which waste management is one of our top priority. Particularly, solid waste management in the capital city of Phnom Penh is currently undergoing a profound reform. The reform includes a division of Phnom Penh into 3 zones for which municipal waste collection and transport are to be managed by 3 different service providers. Transfer stations are being established for promoting resource recovery as well as better collection and transport, and regional landfills are to be developed for safer and final disposal. This major reform will also become a model for solid waste management system in other municipalities. On top of this, the Royal Government of Cambodia has also issued a number of regulations to address sound waste management, such as decentralization of power and responsibility to subnational level, to strengthen solid waste management, taken steps in plastic reduction by reducing the importation, production and distribution of plastic bags. Under this regulation, plastic bags with eco and friendly feature are banned from and levy on plastic bag is imposed, especially at supermarket and shopping center. Additionally, a new regulation on single-use plastic is currently being drafted with aim to reduce plastic waste, especially at dumping sites and in sea. We have also developed provided technical as well financial support to subnational administration, including provision of waste management equipment such as small-scale incineration plant, dumpster truck and dumpster, as well as organizing training workshop on waste management for district governor and commune chief. Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, the today event on marine plastic is fitting well with regional and global effort in combating marine debris. The Ministry of Environment and National Council for Sustainable Development are working closely with UNDP on building an enabling environment for sustainable development project, aiming at to promote public awareness campaign and develop circular economy strategy and action plan as an innovative approach to waste problem and waste management. Cambodia also working with the World Bank for the ongoing support, commitment and collaboration on tackling solid waste and plastic waste problem. The World Bank has recently prepared a top 10 plastic report which foster dialogue on policy coordination and next step for solid waste management and reduction of single-use plastic through engagement with respective of 25 municipalities and provinces across Cambodia. Under the Plastic Task Force, 5 actions were selected as the first short-term step for which further technical assistance support on organizing stakeholder consultation will follow. Moreover, the ASEAN community in particularly has taken on marine plastic as a regional priority with endorsement of the Bangkok Declaration on combating marine debris in ASEAN region and ASEAN Framework of Action on Marine Debris. With Japan's commitment to tackle marine plastic pollution in partnership with ASEAN countries, new collective action will be implemented in Cambodia via the Combating Marine Plastic Litter Project. Policies and regulation development and promotion of a 4R framework, such as raising awareness, supporting the reduction of plastic waste, and promotion of new technologies such as recycling and plastic alternatives are considered as key points to prevent, minimize plastic waste pollution on land and in the ocean. Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, I find today's event highly relevant to what the Ministry of Environment is trying to achieve in the future perspective on solid waste and marine litter, including plastic. In this regard, Cambodia is also delighted to open hand for joining combating plastic waste and would like to call on development partners to join hands together to develop a comprehensive program for saving our ocean from plastic pollution, as well as investment prioritization with specific focus on sound waste management and circular economy. Once again, on behalf of the Ministry of Environment Cambodia, I would like to express our sincere thanks and appreciation to Vietnam Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment, COBSEA, UNEP, and the government of Sweden for co-hosting this important virtual event. Thank you for your attention and cooperation.
Our final video message is from Kondo Tomohiro, Vice Minister for Global Affairs, Ministry of the Environment, Japan.
I'm honored to be invited to make some speech at this event, co-organized by Vietnam, UNEP, and COBSEA. Southeast Asian countries are particularly important partners for Japan in combating marine plastic pollution. Japan promises to take the lead in that area. At the G20 summit last year, Japan proposed the Osaka Blue Ocean Vision, which aims to reduce additional pollution by marine litter to zero by 2050. I am pleased to announce that it has already been shared by as many as 86 countries and regions, including the ASEAN member states. Japan will continue to work on making the vision reverse, as marine plastic pollution requires a global solution. UNEP has played a prominent role on this issue. Japan contributed to the Ad-hoc open-ended expert group as chair of the entire group, as well as Bureau of Asia and the Pacific group. While the global COVID-19 pandemic continues to impact how we work on the foreseeable future, the group virtually held its first meeting. I heard from my colleagues that enhancing regional and international cooperation to support effective national response was identified as one of the responses options. At the end of the meeting, member states succeeded in sharing chair summary, which put together discussions done by the group. I would like to take this opportunity to express my sincere appreciation to all participants and Japan intends to provide concrete solutions to the problem, cooperating with Southeast Asian countries. Japanese Prime Minister launched the ASEAN +3 Marine Plastic Debris Cooperation Action Initiative in 2018, and the leaders of the ASEAN welcomed it. The initiative was welcomed again in the leader's statement of the 23rd ASEAN +3 Summit on 14th November. I would like to thank Vietnam again for taking the lead. The initiative, Regional Knowledge Center for Marine Plastic Debris at the Economic Research Institute of ASEAN, and the East Asia and Japan ASEAN Integration Fund was established. Science knowledge is indispensable to realize regional and effective measures. Japan declared at the G20 meeting last year that will lead the world in monitoring and data compilation. For example, we have published guidelines that will make it possible to compare monitoring data, whose results cannot currently be compared due to the different methods. In addition, in order to improve the technical capacity of monitoring in each country, we are planning to provide monitoring training joint and Indonesia. Utilizing the regional center, at a hub or base, area aims at networking and raising awareness, promoting innovative actions, and facilitating national and regional cooperation. area has already launched a website on marine plastic litter and plans to distribute information on best practices and policies of each country on the website. Furthermore, an online platform for providing information on best practice of private sector is going to be launched. I hope you will take a look and find it useful. We can make a difference if we join forces and set out on a journey to redesign our socio-economic system. I strongly hope that discussion at this panel will bring us 1 or 2 steps closer to ending marine plastic pollution. Thank you.
All right, that's the last of our video messages. David Osborne is here. He's joining us from Nairobi and Deputy Director of Ecosystems Division of the UN Environment Programme. David, what did you make of the messages made by these governments, and could you put them into context for us briefly?
Well, thank you very much, Veronica. And before I respond, let me just again join with the Honourable Ministers in thanking Vietnam for hosting this fantastic event. Thank you also to Sweden for its support and for all of the remarks that the ministers have made. This has been really, really engaging and hopeful, promising to listen to the respective ministers talk about how they're dealing with the problem of marine litter and particularly plastics in the marine environment in their respective countries. This is a complex problem. Marine litter is a complex problem, and thus it requires a multifaceted response. And the ministers have respectively outlined what they're doing in their respective countries, and combined, it is enthusiastic, it's promising, it's exciting. I think it was the Minister of Singapore who stressed that this is as much about livability and sustainable development as it is about the environment. Virtually everyone talked about how prevention is key. And that is a really, really important element or point to re-emphasize is that addressing plastics in the marine environment, we need to tackle prevention. The Deputy Prime Minister of Sweden, Minister Löfven, she talked about how to get products that are used just for minutes, but then pollute the environment for centuries off the market. And in fact, that was repeated by many of them, talking about the need for a circular economy, not a linear economy of produce, use, dispose, but a circular economy. Many talked about the importance of science and monitoring and data. And let me stress that the science that we need in this field is not just about the physical or environmental science, it's also about social science, understanding the way people think and act. It's also about material science. Everyone talked about the need for collective action, and that's what I think was most exciting about this session, using mechanisms such as ASEAN and COBSEA to move ahead collectively, because no one country, no one municipality can deal with this on their own. The building blocks are there. We just need to work cooperatively together. Fantastic session, Veronica.
Thanks very much indeed, David. We're going to have to leave it there, but we do want to thank very much all of you for your contributions and for participating in this session. This concludes the high-level panel of 2020's Sea of Solutions.
Thank you so much, Veronica. I am now really happy to let you all know that the upcoming session right after this one is the official closing to Sea of Solutions 2020. You can go ahead and click the link in the chat to access the session. Please go ahead and move over there. It hasn't started yet, but once you are all there, we are happy to get you all started. Thank you all once again for being here with us, and see you there at plenary session 4. I'm going to go ahead and close the webinar now.